What up, people? It's me, Manny. And can you believe that X2 X-Men United came out 20 years ago? Me either. Now, X2 was my favorite superhero movie for a long time, up until 2008 when The Dark Knight came out. But anyways, I am looking forward to talking about X2 X-Men United. But after thinking about it, I think it makes more sense if I talk about the first X-Men movie that came out in 2000, which is called simply X-Men. Now, it's been a while I've seen this movie, and all I remember was thinking that it was okay, nothing special. So I guess it is worth watching again to, refresh my memory. So, how is X-Men today? Well, let's discuss. X-Men was released on July 14th, 2000, and it was directed by the now controversial Bryan Singer. Okay, in order to keep this review from being too long, I am not going to get into the details of what Bryan Singer is accused of. But hey, look it up yourself. I'll leave some links in the description below. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyways, they've been trying to make this movie since the 1980s. So before we got the film that we got, there was a lot of directors and writers attached to it. Again, I am not getting into all those details, but ultimately the person who got writer and screenplay credit was none other than Solid Snake himself, David Hayter, which I just find so cool. Now, I had no idea this movie was coming out. I swear to God, I didn't even see one commercial for it. And trust me, as a kid in the year 2000, I was glued to the TV. The way I found out about this movie was sometime in the fall of 2000, I walk into a Bradley store, and in the toy aisle, I see a bunch of X-Men movie toys. And I'm like, hold up, there's an X-Men movie? Honestly, the toys look lame to me. I had no interest in this movie. But after watching a few episodes of the cartoon X-Men Evolution, which released around that time, my interest to see the movie went up. So my mom rented the movie for me at Hollywood Video. And like I said, I thought it was pretty good. Not great, but good. Now, before talking about the movie's story, let me take you back to when I got introduced to the X-Men, which was with the 90s X-Men cartoon on Fox Kids. Now, please take it easy on me on the comments below, but I was not a big fan of this cartoon. As a kid, it was just too convoluted. I had no idea what the was going on half the time, and the action was just boring. Like, I swear, back then, nobody could get punched in a cartoon. Like, I think it has to do with some censorship or something, but I don't know. I couldn't find a quick answer, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. But around the time the Batman animated series changed its animation, it got a lot more violent. There was more punches being thrown and some blood. And then, thank God, Dragon Ball Z came into the picture. Yes, that one got censored, but my God, they still showed a lot, especially in the Frieza saga and on. But I digress. I was a basic bitch when it came to the X-Men animated series. I only liked the main theme song, which is badass, and Wolverine, who was also a badass and my go-to character in the Marvel vs. Capcom games. And his voice in the cartoon was also badass.
Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible.
But yes, let me quickly go over the movie's story. Oh, and here's your spoiler warning, as I am going to talk about the entire movie's plot. We start in 1944 in occupied Poland, where we see a 13-year-old Magneto discovering his powers for the first time, as he's being separated from his parents upon entering the Auschwitz concentration camp. We then time skip to the not-so-distant future, where we see a young Rogue discovering her powers, which is the ability to steal somebody's life force or powers just by touching them, and nearly killing the person she touches. Oh, and just in case, Magneto has the power to be a human magnet, pretty much. He could move metal and stuff. Very powerful. Anyways, Rogue is upset and runs away to Canada, where she meets Logan, aka Wolverine. His skeleton is made out of adamantium, which is nearly indestructible. And he has these 9-inch claws he could summon to cut it up. And he has the ability to fast healing. Anyways, they then get attacked by Sabretooth, who is with Magneto, but they get saved by Cyclops and Storm, who are part of the X-Men. Professor Charles Xavier then explains to Wolverine that Magneto wants to kidnap him for some reason, but they don't know why yet. Needless to say, Wolverine thinks this is all stupid.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Skipping ahead, Rogue runs away once again, while Wolverine tries to stop her. Magneto catches up to them and reveals that he's not after Wolverine at all. He's actually after Rogue. This part is a bit convoluted, but basically, Magneto wants to transfer his powers to Rogue to put her on this machine that will shoot out some radiation or something that will turn anybody who's not a mutant into a mutant. He plans to do this at a UN summit near Ellis Island. Magneto does not know that this machine will eventually end up killing the people it turns into mutants because of how unnatural it is. It's also going to drain the life out of Rogue, killing her as well. The reason Magneto wants to do this is because the United States government and stuff wants to pass these laws that will outlaw mutants, so he wants to make all the world leaders mutants so they could be like, oh wait, maybe we shouldn't do these laws. We should stop discriminating against mutants. So, you know, you can see his point of view, but unfortunately, yeah, this machine's gonna kill everybody. So it's up to the X-Men to stop him. And man, they get their asses beat. But eventually they are successful and they stop the machine and Magneto and the world is saved. So after so many years that have passed since I seen this movie, how was it today? Well, holy crap. This movie was way better than I remember. First of all, it's the tone. It takes itself seriously, and you believe the stakes are high. Like, it's so refreshing. With most of the MCU movies having a lighter tone where it doesn't take itself serious and is always throwing these crappy jokes at you, ruining some pretty emotional moments, I really forgot how good it is to have a serious tone in a Marvel movie. But don't get me wrong, there are some good jokes in this movie too, that don't ruin the moment or make things more silly. The timing in these jokes are perfect. Also, the pace in this movie is great as well. This movie is about an hour and 40 minutes long, but it doesn't even feel that long. It feels shorter. It does a great job at moving the story forward. Now, the whole cast here is great as well. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on each individual actor. This is a big cast, but basically, they're all good to nearly perfect. Especially Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You know how some actors, it takes time for them to really shine in their role? Like, maybe in the sequel they'll do better, or in the second season. Not Hugh Jackman. He is great from the start here. He definitely understood the assignment. I am so glad he is coming back for Deadpool 3. He definitely made me a bigger fan of Wolverine. Just look at this pic of me when I had hair. Good times, good times. I know there's some people that complain that Hugh Jackman is too tall to be Wolverine, but like I said, I am not a big fan of the comic books or the animated series, so I could give two shits about his height. To me, he is perfect. Also, I like the all-black costumes. They look good. I don't think comic-accurate costumes would have worked in the first movie. But yeah, to finish up here, this was a great movie. This was shot very well, and I love some of the continuity they used between shots. The special effects hold up for the most part. The pace is great and I love the tone. The music was okay. I didn't know that they didn't have that X-Men theme here until the second movie. I was a little surprised by that. I forgot about that detail. I think the only negative thing with this movie is that Sabretooth, Mystique, and Toad did not have that many lines, so they were not very well developed. Other than that, I can't think of anything else negative to say about this movie. I also loved how they set up the sequel to this movie here at the end. That was great. Now that's how you set up a sequel. Anyways, with that, I give X-Men a 9 out of 10. Well, folks, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the first X-Men movie, which, again, I am shocked how much I enjoyed it this time. So if you liked it back then or are tired of the Marvel formula, I do recommend giving this one a watch. As you saw in my last video, our pet guinea pig, Cinnamon, passed away. He was 7 years old, which for a guinea pig, that's pretty old. We took him to the vet, and there's not much they could, do for him. And yeah, unfortunately, he passed away, but we got him right here. His ashes and stuff. So yeah, I just want to give people an update in case, I know he has some fans out there. He's not suffering no more, and he was a great co-host, as you saw. He made these videos more entertaining because, just as me doing this show is kind of boring, but with him, a little banter back and forth was always interesting. So yeah, Cinnamon,
You will be missed. I'll never forget you. And hey, your fans will never forget you, right? Thumbs up if you're never gonna forget Cinnamon. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it on social media, subscribe to my page, and yeah, I could keep doing these videos and stuff. And typically Cinnamon would be the one I would type it under him to say to subscribe and stuff. So yeah, just take it from me this time. Please subscribe. Now with that, this has been a review of X-Men Just Cuz.